So I'm recording this video like a few days after my Bones and All video, so I am still very sick, so I apologize. Before we get into this video, I want to issue a spoiler warning. I won't necessarily be explaining every single plot point, so go buy the DVD, watch it, and then we can talk. This movie deals with many very intense issues revolving mass shootings. So if that's a sensitive topic for you, then please click off. Just letting you know so that you're not jump scared later. All right, let's get into the premise. Emma, played by Zendaya, and Charlie, played by Robert Pattinson, are getting married in a week. Not only that, but they are adorable together, packaged with every single rom-com classic you can think of. The meet cute, the instant chemistry, the yin and the yang of their personalities. Now, obviously, this is all insanely derailed when Emma reveals a shocking truth about her past. That truth being that she planned a school shooting when she was 15. Now, I want to challenge your perception of this film. This film is not about what Emma didn't do. It's about everyone's hypocritical reaction to what she, and let me say this one more time, did not do. The irony in this film lies in Emma being constantly put on trial while also being the only innocent one in our group of main characters. Charlie cyberbullied a kid into moving. Mike, played by Mamadou Athie, held his ex-girlfriend in front of an aggressive dog to protect himself. And Rachel, played by Alana Haim, locked a mentally disabled person in a closet in the middle of nowhere and didn't tell anyone. When Emma is drunk and peer pressured into telling them her deepest, darkest secret, everyone is so taken aback and outraged by Emma's past mistakes, seeming to disregard their own mistakes in favor of judging Emma and putting Emma on a pedestal to be criticized for something she clearly displays an immense amount of regret for. But before we move on, I want to bring up how when Charlie shared the worst thing he ever did, he shared that he was in high school, and Mike responded to that by saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, that shouldn't even count. Your brain doesn't even fully develop until you're 25. Now, I don't have to spell out for you how hypocritical that in itself is, but I do want to point out that if Mike and Rachel gave Emma the same amount of grace and even attempted to be as understanding of Emma's situation as they were of Charlie's, then this entire movie and all the drama in it wouldn't even be here, and there wouldn't even be a movie to review. So I guess thank you, Rachel. But you know what would be really hypocritical? You enjoying this video and not subscribing. So yeah, subscribe, please. I want to say that at no point throughout this video do I intend to excuse the actions of someone who carries out this horrific act, and I believe there should be serious consequences for anyone who takes the life of another human. I wish only to understand where Emma is coming from in the world of this film. So Emma moved to Louisiana when she was a young high schooler, and she shares that she never really made new friends at her new school, and that she was constantly bullied. Now, Lucas Blue made a phenomenal video on the drama, and he brought up a documentary called The Echoes of Columbine, which provides research into the psychological patterns of school shooters from 1999 to 2019. Please go watch his review on this film. It is great. His channel will be linked in the description. But what I want to focus on is the different events and psychological stresses that push these people to their breaking point. The first being the feeling of social exclusion, the second being this rising feeling of hopelessness, the third being the shooter viewing their peers as a collective force against them instead of individual humans, and the fourth is them viewing it as a delivery system for power, recognition, and a way of being remembered forever as opposed to before when no one saw or cared about them. And we see all of these signs in Emma's 15-year-old self, her bullying, her manifesto, her being alone constantly throughout these flashback sequences. And every time she's around another person in these flashbacks, she is constantly being bullied. And when she isn't being bullied, she's alone, isolated, alienated. And she only decided not to do it when there was another shooting and she saw the pure devastation on the faces of the people around her. All that to say, Emma is not this cold-blooded monster whose only intent is to hurt the people around her. She is human, just like the rest of us, and she deserves to be treated as such. What she doesn't deserve is the complete objectification she is subjected to from everyone in this film. Before we move on, I want to say I am not a mental health professional. I'm just sharing my view of what I think the film is saying and about. And if you are feeling these feelings, I plead to you, please go see a mental health professional, and no, you are not alone. Okay, Rachel is just evil. She is a bad person. She's constantly looking for ways to be judgmental to those around her, presumably because it gives her this sense of superiority and makes her feel better than others. For example, she spends the entire film expressing her hatred towards Emma and literally tries to derail their wedding during her speech. But when Blake attacks Charlie, she literally has to be held back by Mike because she is, in major quotations, defending Charlie, to the point of yelling, "I'll fucking kill you," at Blake, mirroring the intensity and feelings that young Emma felt towards her peers when, in her video manifesto, she says,
Shout out to Sally, you're gonna fucking die first.
and that only further pushes the limits of Rachel's hypocrisy. And a quick reminder, Rachel's act in the beginning was objectively the most damaging out of the four because she actively locked a human into a closet and was not going to tell anyone. And she says she was going to let someone know if they didn't find him. But let's be honest, she cared more about not getting in trouble than actually doing the right thing. And Emma, no one even knew about what Emma did for 15 years until she decided to confide in her friends upon coercion. So Rachel did the worst out of the four and is being the most judgmental to the person who did the least damage out of the four. While the child Rachel locked in that closet probably still deals with that trauma to this day. What this all boils down to is that when Rachel judges Emma in this black and white, psychopath or not psychopath fashion, it limits Emma's ability to be a complex human with complex emotion, further alienating Emma, forcing that feeling of social exclusion, and therefore making the problem worse. This concept of blaming the individual, not the culture the individual was raised in, feels very prominent when Charlie goes to talk to Mike and Rachel to defend Emma, speaking on Emma's behalf. Let's get something straight though. This theme is not advocating for a blameless individual, rather critiquing the manner in which our society attempts to fix the problem. The classic NRA slogan, "Guns don't kill people, people kill people," shows exactly why something needs to change. Charlie, who is British, says something along the lines of, "Aren't guns a whole thing here? Isn't that like a part of your culture?" To which Rachel is, of course, unjustly offended. But that is the truth. The amount of carelessness our government takes when it comes to gun control is completely unprecedented. So to act like more guns equals less shootings is childish and frankly wrong, especially when you take into account the last 50 years where shootings have been on the rise year after year and the government isn't doing anything about it. How this relates to the theme is that you can't castrate one person and then turn around and act like the decision overrides the accessibility and the ease that the Second Amendment provides. It's, for example, the only reason that Emma even had the ability to carry out this act was because her father owned a rifle. So saying that gun control is more to blame in shootings than a gun is ignorant and so telling of where we are as a society intellectually. Now, I don't want to sound like there isn't any hope. This can get better, and I think it probably will get better. But we as a society need to stop putting our individual wants over the overall betterment of the masses. Now, before we get into the wedding scene, I want to talk about something that Charlie says while defending Emma. He brings up how many people probably planned something like this but never went through with it. And in doing so, he's trying to convince Rachel it's more normal than she thinks it is. Now, if it actually is more normal than Rachel thinks it is or not, is not up for me to decide. But I can say that emphasizing that this isn't a series of isolated incidents, but connected in the way our culture has been cultivated, is a great conclusion to this theme. Basically, the entire wedding goes horribly wrong. And interestingly enough, it's not because of Rachel's being there, it's because of the false assumptions and acts of Charlie and Emma during the wedding. So here's a quick recap for those who have not seen it. Charlie kissed Misha before the wedding. Emma assumes that Rachel told Misha that she planned a school shooting, so Emma pulls Misha into an empty room with her and Charlie, and Misha assumes that it's because Charlie cheated on Emma, so she tries to get ahead of it by telling the truth immediately. So Emma finds out Charlie cheated, and leading to a very uncomfortable, anxiety-induced grim speech given by Charlie, where he admits to kissing Misha in front of everyone, which that leads into Misha's boyfriend, Blake, hitting Charlie and causing a fight. Oh my God, that... Okay. I need a breather. All right. Okay, anyways, Charlie gets home and is bloodied up from the fight, and he tries to get cleaned up. He clearly regrets how things went at the wedding, and he calls Emma to try and fix things, to no avail. He plays himself a song that Emma plays for him when he is down and distressed earlier in the film, and he starts dancing. He gets up, he starts grooving, but then he throws up, paralleling a lot of Emma's actions earlier in the film after her secret came out. Charlie is in the place that Emma was at the beginning of this film. Charlie is in Emma's shoes. He now understands where she is coming from, full of regret and fear that their partner will not love them the same way they did before. They meet up at a diner, and Emma walks in pristine. No cuts, no scars, no bruises, contrasting how Charlie looks obviously battered up from the wedding. Charlie asks for forgiveness, and Emma cuts him off, asking if he lives around here, offering him a second chance. The fresh start that he didn't allow Emma to have earlier in the film. And now that Charlie realizes how Emma was feeling when she desperately pleaded for that fresh start, now that he's in the place that Emma desperately wanted to escape, he accepts. Charlie realizes the love he's been holding back from her and the cruelty he's been displaying towards her, and accepts her for who she is and not for who she once was. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't talk about it. They should definitely have a healthy dialogue, but holding that version of herself against her and disguising it as healthy dialogue is unfair and not empathetic to who she is now. In my opinion, this is the best film to be released this year. And before you comment that I'm evil and have disgusting opinions, I have not seen The Odyssey yet at the time of recording this video. But I bet that it'll be great, and I'll even put my score of The Odyssey right here because I probably will have watched it when this video comes out. So that's what I think of The Odyssey. Better or worse than the drama? Tell me, future. Wow. Comment about that. Holy crap. It's insane. But in all honesty, I have this very scary feeling that The Odyssey will be overlooked once Oscar season rolls around. Now, obviously, I hope that is not the case, but this film is a masterclass in editing. And oh my God, the soundtrack is just amazing. And Kristoffer Borgli's writing and direction is amazing, and he's a visionary, and he's already shot up in my rankings of directors already. He's one of my favorites now because of this movie. I cannot wait to see what he does next. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, have a nice day.